Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show.
On the beach in the sand, I think of you. I think of you. Did you realize I love you all my life? And when you're gone, I'm all alone.
Hello, and welcome back. Today, I would like to discuss something about my purpose for doing this. It began when I wrote this book. So I was going to create a show to promote the book, simply because I didn't feel like giving my book, as important as it is, a proper rollout. Simply because I wrote the book a little more than 4 years ago, and at the time, the then President Trump was in the news cycle so much because of drama that you didn't really have time to focus on anything other than to figure out what he was doing. And so I decided then I would wait until after the election, when there is a new president and everything will calm down and the world could relax and we could further our leisure time, where we might have time to read and learn some things that we had not before thought we would ever be learning, because the things that I'm teaching are very important for humanity in and of itself. However, when Donald Trump did not win the presidency, everything became more dramatic. It was an insurrection, and then it's been drama ever since. So to the point where I have never felt the space to give my book a proper introduction. So now here we are. Mr. Trump is president again. The last episode I talked about block linear error correcting codes in the cosmos, where the creator will do a sort of a change in the way the universe works, just to make minor adjustments. And I could feel those adjustments. And they feel like this. When you're in society today, as opposed to when Kamala Harris was running for president, there was an excitement level that was very high. When she lost the presidency, it dropped. But when it dropped, it didn't drop into such a situation of desperation or despair. Especially as a black person in this iteration of my existence, We are used to drama and this kind of stress. We are accustomed to it. We almost thought that it was going to be over when we had a president that looked like us, but in fact, the reality of it, the reason that things are so bad now is because of that president. It was because, let me explain to you something about Barack Obama. Barack Obama did a very bad job of making himself look, how can I put this? In other words, Barack Obama was almost flawless in his presidency, to the point where people hated him because of it. Because he did it right, people believed that he was wrong. It's a kind of thing that it was almost as if his level of maturity made people feel very insecure. Instead of uplifting people, he was so smooth and debonair, he made people feel bad. I mean, look at the president we have now. He will curse you out. He will tell everybody to go to hell and everything. But, I mean, he's just the contrary of a Barack Obama. If Barack Obama had said anything like that, they would have been trying to chop his head off. So the point I'm trying to make is Mr. Obama did too damn good a job. He made people feel negative about who they were. Instead of being an uplifting person, he made people feel like, well, damn, we can't, anyway. This whole thing is rather hard to explain, but Donald Trump has such a passion to outdo Barack Obama that it made him become obsessed with the notion, I have got to do better than this man. And so jealousy is a horrible thing. But anyway, what I'm trying to say now is that Donald Trump seems to be here to stay. Until he just retires. But anyway, although that's not a funny thing, it is our reality. So we are still here for the same purpose, to raise the level of spirituality in people. I've given people clues and dynamic ways in which to do that. Number one is you give your spirit a name. Number two, you function and act like your spirit is a part of you to the extent to where your spirit is who you really are. And your avatar represents the spirit. Now, I'm going to give you some rather shocking news right now. And that is, you no longer have a need to pray to angels. Angels do not need your prayers. And let me explain why. When I say that you are a spirit with a body, what I'm telling you, in fact, is your spirit that you truly are, is in fact the same thing as an angel. What human beings really are, in fact, are biological units with a head and brain, but our spirits are the same thing as an angel. We have angels for spirits. How does that feel? You don't have to pray to an angel when you know you are one. You're never going to get any closer to being an angel until you have discarded this body. So you are an angel. Congratulations. Now, here's the problem. Although you are an angel, you still are connected to this biology that has two brains, not one, but two. The problem with this biology are the two brains. One of them is the analytical. The other is the creative. Now, these two hemispheres they work in they work in coordination with one another. However, they specialize in different things. And as long as they are taught to use one section, see, the analytical side of your brain is the side that teaches you your morality, because it has its main duty is to map out your life, to figure out how you're going to exist, to figure out how you're going to move throughout society. Whereas the creative side is a side that balances out that narrative. Now, when it balances it out, it basically causes you to do things like things of a creative nature that brings pleasure to your life. You may become an artist. You may become a philosopher. All this is dealing with, well, philosophy is dealing with both sides of the brain. So what I'm trying to do now is not only teach you how to raise your level of spirituality by giving it a name, by talking to it, by developing a relationship with it. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to develop a relationship with it. Once you develop a relationship, you will start to see things happen with you that are synchronized to make you really understand that there is something on the outside of your physicality that you're connected with that's looking out for your welfare. So we understand that. But there's this other side that's not getting clear to people. People are not feeling the kind of connection to their spirit that I teach. But that's okay, because we have a plan B. For those people who don't feel like they're able to communicate with their spirit, like it's just not working, where they're not hearing a voice, they're not getting any miracles, they're not getting any messages. What you need to do is you are going to need to learn how to bridge the gap between your two hemispheres in your brain. Once you bridge the gap between the two hemispheres in your brain and body, that aspect of you will begin to vibrate at a different rate. So when we say raise the level of spirituality, we also mean raise the vibrant rate of people. When I'm out in public, I can tell I really have to try to keep a big smile on my face to keep people from being intimidated because of the way my body vibrates. It vibrates at such a rate that it will make people feel uncomfortable. And so you have to compensate that by smiling and being pleasant. The number one way to circumvent this is to learn how to express love better. Learn how to express love more. It is a term that I'm going to have to start using more often. It's not just a phrase, it is a medical recommendation. The more you can bring yourself to love, that will cause that part of your brain to merge together, because one cannot exist without the other. And once you merge these two hemispheres of your brain, then begins the reshaping of the vibration, the vibrant rate of the individual. Your spirit is already vibrating at a high rate. Don't forget, your spirit is an angel. You are an angel. And so that angel is dealing with something that doesn't vibrate as high. Once you infuse love within the process, then your brain and body, your brain, your brain aspect that controls everything will begin to vibrate at a different rate. And then you will see changes in your life. You'll see changes that seem like miracles because now your brain is functioning on the same level as your spirit is. When in my life, miracles happen all the time simply because I'm connected to my spirit. However, the brain is a different thing. So I'm going to borrow something. The greatest people that I've known growing up, I have an uncle who was who we'll get into him another time, but he was. I have a lot of uncles that were great men, and one of them was a pastor. He's no longer living, but my uncle Merkel Williams, he was special. His son is a pastor too, Chris. And I'd like to ask Chris permission, if I may, to borrow a very important phrase that I remember his father saying. It's a phrase pertaining to love, and this is something that I want to start adding to my vernacular. I want to be able to say this one all the time because it's very important. My Uncle Merkel used to say to his congregation, he would say, I love you whether you like it or not. Say, I love you whether you like it or not. He used to turn in church. He would say to everyone in the turn to your neighbor and repeat what I'm saying. So the neighbor the neighbor in church, they would turn to somebody that they don't even know and tell them, I love you because whether you like it or not. Now, it feels superficial at first, but depending upon how serious you are, is how serious it's going to be. And I'm very serious. Like, there's only a couple of people in this world that I hesitate to love. I hesitate to love them because I feel they will do me more harm than good to do so. But that being said, I still have to go full in on what I believe. If I am to reach, there's a level of vibration. Now, not to say that I really don't want to. I don't want to see a lot of the things that I know other people see. I don't really care to see aliens, for instance, because I don't want to have to go around telling alien stories and people looking at me crazy. However, I would still love to have the ability to do so if I wanted to. All you have to do to see aliens, and I'm talking about extraterrestrials, is vibrate at a certain level. See, space travel is too broad and these things are too far away. I can tell you right now that these beings that a lot of people have seen and I have not, cannot travel those vast distances. It doesn't make any sense because if it would take you 50 years to get somewhere, by the time you get there, it wouldn't even be worth it. And how are you going to have that much fuel in the first place? So it's obvious that when they travel, when they show up, it's not the kind of traveling we do. We travel from one place to another. Well, they do it like we get to one place or another, but they don't travel. It's obvious. And the way they're able to do that from my sources is that all they need to do is like a radio dial where you tune into a certain station. All they have to, this space where we in, Earth, this atmosphere, this solar system vibrates at a certain rate. At a certain rate. All systems vibrate at a certain rate. And all they have to do is tune in to the frequency that this particular planet operates on. And then they just vibrate right into it. They go right from home to... Could you imagine you being such an advanced species that you treat travel like it's a radio station? Could you imagine if we had the ability to do that here? We'd be able to just sit somewhere and, okay, I want to go to Japan. Let me tune Japan. Here I am. It has to do with vibrant rates. We as human beings are far from that, but I'd like to be on my way to that endeavor. That would be a good. I'm communicating with my spirit now, which makes me a spiritualist. However, I would like to start working on the next level of vibrant rates. And the way you raise your vibrant rate is by merging those two hemispheres in your brain. And you're going to have to do that, from what they tell me, you're going to have to do that with love. Love is the only thing that will branch that. And a genuine, non-conditional love for everything. Love for people. Love for the good and the bad. So this is what we're going to start teaching here. And so what I'd like to do right now is we have to continue to stay in our meditation roots. Our meditation is so important to our health and well-being. I suggest that we don't spend the next 4 years wondering about what President Trump is going to do. It was maddening the first 4, and it was confusing the next 4. And now it's like, really, okay, you guys have selected him, you want him, and we just have to go with the flow. We got to go with it. We have to adapt. We have to adapt to it. And it is another 4 years of me not worrying about it, for instance. And that's what I'm trying to do with you. It's going to be 4 years of you not worrying about it either, because we're going to have better things to worry about than that kind of drama. And I really wanted to get to the point where we're not even watching news every day. We don't need to see every single day what's going to happen next. It's not necessary. If we can just have our own things to work on, and that is our health and our well-being and our spirituality, and that's what I'm here for. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a frequency, vibration, in the form of a meditation video. We've already gone through how to meditate, how to run our energy. We're bringing energy from the earth up. You can go back to one of my older videos. You'll find it. If you go down the list on the YouTube shows, find the one where it gives you instructions on meditation. This is what I'm talking about. You need to reference that if you don't know how to meditate. And if you don't want to do that, well, and if you already know about meditation, you understand. If you keep your palms up, that will cause you to breathe deeper. You can breathe deeper with your palms up than you can with your palms down. And that's something I just found out recently. Each one of these pieces of music are going to vibrate at a different rate as far as hertz are concerned. What a hertz, the way they measure vibrant rates, they have no other way. They don't have a lot of really good ways to measure vibration other than to send sound waves through a speaker. And when you're measuring frequency, it simply means numbers. It means how many times something happens. So you can make a sound. I remember going my first time in a recording studio, and the producer said, "Listen to this sound." And we didn't hear anything. He said, "The sound is there, it's just you as a human is too low a frequency for you to hear it." Dogs can hear it. Other animal species can hear this, but you can't hear it because it's actually below your ability to hear. So then he started turning it up, and all of a sudden the speaker said, "Poosh." He said, that is the first frequency your brain is able to register. It said, "Poosh." And about a minute later, it said, "Poosh" again. What that meant was the frequency was so low that the interval was like 1, and the other would come back another minute. And then he would turn it up, and it would become more frequent. Boom, boom, boom. But all it sounded like was a bump in the speaker. As it began to turn it up, the frequency got higher. And it got to be a boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden it turned up to the point where it was actually making a low sound. Very low. And the more you turned it up, boom, 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 it would go from. Now this part is in the realm of our ability to hear. Now, it is said that these frequencies control the way our body operates. So I made a list of the frequencies that best suit human beings and their wellness. They have a list of benefits for. We're going to start off with 175 hertz, which means the frequency rate is 175 beats per, I think it's a quarter of a minute. But anyway, don't worry about that. This music is going to be at that rate, 174 hertz, and it will be a great beginning meditation tool. It lasts 6 minutes. So if we can introduce this into what we're doing, we will meditate for about 6 minutes, and we can do this. You can do this whenever you want. I'm going to give you the music so you can do it too. Don't worry about the health benefits because I'll explain that later. I honestly believe that all of these different frequencies will benefit you. So we're going to start off with this one this week, and next we're going to give you another one. This is 174 hertz meditation video. Here you go. Welcome back. Now use this whenever you can. Use this whenever you can instead of thinking about watching watching the news and listening to drama. You know, and my music, my tapes are going to be different because I'm always going to add a voice. It's not going to be just music. As a vocalist myself, I think the human voice is one of the most soothing things that you can have. So I have a lot of people, I've got a lot of voices to work with, hundreds of them, and so I will be introducing these voices. That one was a Jessica, but we'll talk about that later because Jessica is in fact a virtual instrument. We'll talk about that. Anyway, thank you for coming. Now, our new thing is to be serious about loving everybody. So this is going to become a common phrase with us that I've borrowed from my uncle Merkel Williams, the Reverend Merkel Williams, and that is, I love you whether you like it or not. See you in the next show.
Love me too, love me too, love me too. Right there, right there. Love me too, love me too, love me too. Love me too, love me Yes, right there. Love me too. Yeah, right there. Love me too.
Subscribe and push the like button.